quarterfinals we go now in the 2026 World Cup as we say goodbye to the likes of Brazil, Colombia, and of course Mexico, who of course will go through to the semi-finals. We're going to get into that and much more next. Today we take a look at the quarterfinals of the 2026 World Cup. That's right, 8 teams remain, only 4 spots available. Who's going through, who's going home? We're going to get into that in just 1 second. If you know where you've been, stop what you're doing, swallow what you're chewing, smash the old subscribe, your one-stop shop for Blackburn Rovers World Cup predictions. That's right, we've predicted every game so far in this World Cup, and we're not going to stop now. We're going to predict these 4 matches, which of course will result in our 4 semi-finals. Who will it be? Well, I'll tell you in a second. Big shout out to my members and the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you new, subscribe. Of course, we're trying to get up 80 likes in this video. If we can get 80 likes, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Please, please, please smash the like. But we are here to talk about this. It is the World Cup, and we're going to come at you in just a lickety split here. Just a reminder that we do have a prediction league for this World Cup. Make sure you get involved with that. Absolutely free. But we're going to hop back into it and, of course, showcase you what went on last time around. Then what do I mean by that? Well, I'll tell you. Of course, it is this. That's right. Of course, recapping my predictions, and here we go. We started with, of course, the French, of course, took care of business against Paraguay. It wasn't as easy as I expected. I went with a 4-1 win, but actually it was a... All right then, folks, first and foremost, we're going to take a little look back at my predictions for the round of 16, which did see the exits of the likes of Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. Well, let's remind ourselves of what went down in this round of matches. Of course, we did see the French come by Paraguay. It was a little bit of a tight affair, ended up being a 1-0 win for the French. Of course, a late winner indeed. Meanwhile, the Canadians are out. They lost 3-0 to Morocco. I went with a 2-0 win myself. It was very, very tight between Spain and Portugal, and of course the Spanish will go through to, of course, the quarterfinals. They'll be joined by Belgium, of course, who took care of business against the Americans, who just didn't show up for that game. 4-1 loss in the end. One of the biggest shocks of the World Cup was Norway's victory over Brazil. Again, pretty boring by Brazil. Expected much more better than that, but they, of course, crashed out. Meanwhile, Mexico also out despite giving a good count of themselves against England in a very high, intense match. Meanwhile, it was the last chance saloon for Argentina as they came back from 2-0 behind to beat Egypt 3-2, of course, despite my 4-2 prediction. And, of course, the Swiss took it to penalties with a 0-0 scoreline and came through in the end. So what did we leave now? Well, we're left with these, of course. These are our quarterfinals, and as you can see, separated in the 2 brackets. We have the French up against Morocco. We have Spain against Belgium. We have Norway against England. And we have Argentina up against Switzerland. That is right. So sit tight. Hold on. We're going to get into this one right here, right now. All right, then, first and foremost, it is the French up against Morocco coming at you on the 9th of July over at the Boston Stadium in Foxborough. That's right, these two nations, familiar foes according to my data. They last played all the way back in December 14th, 2022, which was the World Cup semi-finals in Qatar. It resulted in a 2-0 win for the French, which set them through to the final. As for Morocco, they, of course, had to settle for the 3rd and 4th place playoff match. But coming into this, both sides looking good right now, and coming into this 100% form for France. As for Morocco, 87% form, of course, starting their World Cup with that draw against Brazil. Now, coming into this, the win index is 59%, which does favour the French. 16% is Morocco, and 25% is the draw on this. What am I expecting? I'm expecting a tight old game, and I'm also going for a bit of an upset indeed. I'm expecting a tight old game, but I do expect the French to come out on top with a 3-1 win to, of course, book themselves a spot in the semi-finals. That's right. Next up, we do go to an all-European affair, and it's Spain up against Belgium. Of course, the Spanish have been pretty good so far in this World Cup, but without really setting the place on fire. The Belgians have been growing in confidence after a real stagnant group setup, of course, which they drew with the likes of Egypt. They also drew with the likes of Iran, but then they turned on the flare against New Zealand and just continued to score goals in quick succession. Looking pretty good, in fact, at the moment. Now, these two nations have played each other a bunch of times, 10 times since 1980. 7 wins for the Spanish, who got 2 wins for the Belgians, and there's been 1 draw. The most recent match being back in Belgium was a 2-0 win for the Spanish way back on September the 1st, 2016. Belgium's last victory. In fact, you're going to roll back the years. I don't even know. I don't even have a record of it. It must have been way, way, way back in the history books. Of course, both nations coming into this top in their groups. Belgium top Group G, with the Spanish also topping Group H. Of course, 5 5 points for Belgium, just 7 points for Spain. Spain's journey so far has been pretty solid as well to get to this point. Still yet to concede a goal at this World Cup. But of course, having navigated past Portugal, they'll of course be licking their lips here and now. As for Belgium, though, they're starting to turn on the flare, scoring a lot of goals. 59% is the win index for Spain here. 24% is the draw, and 17% is your Belgium on this one. Tight one this one, and I'm going to go with Spain on this. 2-0 winners to get themselves through to the semi-finals. Oh, yes, indeed. Let's hop on over to the other side of the bracket, and it is another all-European encounter. It will be Norway up against England. That's right. Coming to the Miami Stadium on the 11th of July. That's right. Norway under Stanisław Bakken up against Thomas Tuchel's England. Both nations pretty good in form right now. Norway just the one defeat in the last 5. That one defeat was when they changed it up against the French. As for England, just the one blip in the resume. That was the draw against Ghana in match number 2 for them at this World Cup. Since there's been 3 wins, but they haven't been that overly impressive. They've got a job done against DR Congo. They got the job done against Mexico. Can they now turn it on against a team that is a shooter, scoring for fun? Well, we'll see. Now, these two nations have played twice since 2012. It's been 2 wins out of 2 for England, including a 1-0 win when they last played in England back in 2014. But there's 2 nations coming into this again. Norway second in their group, which did include France. That's right. And England top of the group, which of course was Group L, with 7 points of a possible 9. Coming into this, of course, both nations have scored a bucket load of goals. 12 for Norway, 11 for England. So that's going to be a key factor. As for goals conceded, Norway been much more sloppy. But again, 4 of those goals, I think, were conceded against the French. So we'll see about that. Meanwhile, the win index is favouring England 51%. The draw is at 25. The Norway is at 24. Again, I think a lot of people are going to back England on this one, but I just think the momentum, and of course the third part, the unbiased folks among us, the neutrals amongst us, are backing Norway here. I'm going to have to stand on my laurels here, I guess, and go for the Viking clap. That's right. I'm going to go with a 1-1 scoreline after 90 minutes extra time. We're going to drag it to penalties. Norway's going to have the cool head, and they're going to, of course, take the victory into the semi-finals. But who will they take? Will they take on Argentina, or will they take on Switzerland? That's right. Denying us of course, an all South American affair. Of course, Switzerland coming into this on the back of that penalty shootout victory over Colombia. Argentina, of course, last chance saloon against Egypt. Of course, very controversial match despite, coming back from 2-0 behind. A lot of people questioning the sort of setup or the nature of that comeback. Regardless of that, of course, Argentina been great so far, scoring with fun. Again, maybe not necessarily playing their best football, but getting enough out of a bad situation. As for the Swiss, they're a difficult team to beat right here, right now. And of course, this could be a prime time opportunity for Switzerland to do the unthinkable. Of course, they are coming into having top Group B. Of course, they play the majority of the matches, I think, in Canada. This will be the first match in a long time away from Canada soil and into the US. Of course, so tight one this one. Coming into this, of course, this is fresh off the back of that penalty shootout victory. Of course, they did the distance, played extra time. And right now, I am questioning Argentina right now. Of course, they have had it very iffy. Cabo Verde, Egypt, a very easy pathway, you would say. But of course, got the job done in the end. This is also, people would say, an easy fixture for Argentina. But I'm going to go against the grain. I'm going to stick my neck out on this one. And once again, go in with something a little bit bizarro here. I'm going to go with a cheeky 2-1 win for the Swiss. That's right. That is indeed, which will set up 4 European nations in these semi-finals. And they will be the French up against Spain in the first semi-final, and then it'll be Norway up against the Switzerland, of course, for a place in the World Cup final in 2026. That, my friends, is what I've got for you. Let me know what you've got, of course, as we look forward to the 2026 quarterfinals of the World Cup. That's right. Of course, make sure you subscribe, smash the like wherever you are in the world, of course. But until then, we're done.